Hi, boys and girls. Today, our objective or our goal for math class is for you to be able to subtract whole numbers and be able to check your work by using the inverse operations. Before we get started with subtracting and checking our work, I want to do a little review. So if you could take a minute, pause your video and round this number. All right, so if you rounded this number, what you did was you underlined the place value that we're working with. So first we're working with the thousands place. Then you looked to the right and you said the riddle. 0 to 4, stay on the floor. 5 to 9, climb the vine. Because we're climbing, the number we underline, because we're climbing, it's a 2. 0 to 4 means it stays on the floor. So that means these numbers stay, and all the rest, in my class, we call them big, fat, juicy zeros. We call them big, fat, juicy zeros, the ones after. So if we're rounding to the nearest thousand, we should have 45,000. Now let's go ahead and do the next one. I'm going to erase my work on here so I can do it again. This time we are working with the 10,000s place. So I'm going to underline my 10,000s place. I'm going to look to my right and I'm going to say my riddle. 0 to 4, stay on the floor. 5 to 9, climb the vine. 5 to 9 means I'm climbing. So this 4 climbs. It gets bigger by 1. All the rest become big, fat, juicy zeros. Therefore, you should have an approximately 50,000. Okay? All right, let's keep moving. What I'd like you to do is on your whiteboard, I'd like you to write the 4 operations of math. There's 4 operations we focus with in math, and what are they? Pause your video, write it, and then hold it up for me. Awesome. Hopefully what you had was you had addition, you had subtraction, you had multiplication, and of course you have division. Those are the 4 operations. Now, what is the inverse operation for addition? So what is the opposite operation when you're adding? Go ahead, write it on your whiteboard. Hopefully you said the opposite of addition is subtraction, right? Yeah, we've learned that yesterday. And then my next question is, what's the opposite of subtraction? Hopefully immediately in your head, you're like, oh, the opposite is addition. And that's true. The opposite of subtraction is addition. Good. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we'll solve the subtraction problem. Remember, some people were getting a little confused about the letters. So this letter is not my answer. It's called a variable. A variable means what we're trying to solve the value of. So we're trying to find the value of this variable, which is the difference of this problem. So when we're solving for A, the variable, we know we line up our place value first, and then we start in the smallest place value. Because we're starting in the smallest, we have 1 and we're taking 2 away. I think I said in my video yesterday, I like math because I think of food. And in this case, I think of cookies. So if I have 1 cookie and I try to take 2 away, how many cookies do I have? So I have 1 cookie, I'm trying to take 2 away. I know that doesn't work. So I need to borrow from my next place value. This becomes 7 tenths, and then I take that 10 and I add it to my ones place. So 10 plus 1 is 11. And now I can subtract. 11 minus 2 is 9. 7 minus 0 is 7, and I keep going. 4 minus 5, wait, I can't have 4 and take 5 away, so I have to borrow. I take 1,000 out, and I add that 1,000 here, and now I can subtract. 6 minus 3 is 3. 9 minus 6 is 3. So I'm saying my value of A is 33,979. Now, I would like to take a second and try to solve and see if that's correct. Remember, when we try to see if it's correct, we're doing that inverse operation. So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to add it. So you'll notice over here, this was my subtraction work. And now I'm doing the opposite. So I kind of like to take my answer and go up. I'm going to add, see how it makes a plus sign, this number, what was my subtrahend. And if I'm correct, when I add these two numbers, I will get 97,481. Now, if I add it and I don't get that, then that means I need to go back because I made a mistake. So that's the point of checking your work to see if it's accurate. So let's go ahead and solve. 9 plus 2 is 11. 7 plus 0 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 9 and 5 is 14. 3 and 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 6 and 3 is 9. So let's see if this matches up with my min-unit. 97,481, which means my answer for A is truly 33,979. Now, don't tell me that your answer is 97,481 because that's not our answer. This is just how we checked our work. Our true value of A is 33,979. Okay? Awesome. Let's keep moving, friends. I want to give you a little tip before you do this one on your whiteboard. Maybe just a suggestion, because I've noticed a few people doing the wrong operation. Don't be afraid to look at the operation, because I had a few people on the exit tickets doing the wrong operation. They were adding when they should have been subtracting, or they were subtracting when they should have been adding. So notice we're subtracting here. What I'd like you to do, pause your video. On your whiteboard or your place value chart, go ahead and solve this. Remember to borrow. And then we will go and we will check our work with our inverse operation. So good luck. Hopefully, when you found your value of L for that variable, you found a difference of 22,828. So this was your work for subtraction. You went ahead and you borrowed. Now we've got to do the opposite, and we need to use our inverse operation to double check our work. And if we're correct, we'll get what we had for our min-unit. So take a minute, pause your video, go ahead and add it and see if we were correct. Let's see. I'm going to delete this out of the way. 74,362. So our correct answer, I just like to write it out again so we don't get confused with what our answer actually is, because there's a lot of work here. In my class, I tell them to underline it or circle it, something so we know. But I rewrote out my sentence with my variable in it. We should have a difference of 22,828. Nice. I'm proud of you guys. You're working hard. I also want to give you a shout out. It's so refreshing to see as I walk around, people are writing on their boards, or your teacher's telling me. I love that my virtual friends send me their work. I just want to say great job. I think whatever effort you put in, you get out. So thanks for working hard with me over these last few weeks in math class. Today's math, you're going to go ahead and do your exit ticket on Schoology. Again, just practicing that subtraction and some inverse operations. Please, please, please take the time to show your work. Double check it using that inverse operation. Remember, today's whole math class was making sure you were able to subtract whole numbers by checking your work using inverse operations. Nice job today, guys.